Wednesdays, sponsored by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. They're here all season long. Listen every Wednesday through March for your chance to win tickets.
This is a complicated lunch to get prepared. Homemade sloppy Joe. But I make with lettuce wraps. So I take lettuce, which you think is yucky, and I put the sloppy Joe inside that. So you have to rinse the lettuce. You have to heat up the sloppy Joe. And then, of course, my wife made for the big game last night. She made stromboli. So then I have to heat up the stromboli, too. And then I've got some guac to eat some chips with. So I have so many things. This was a very complicated lunch preparation today, Tennessee. Not as complicated as it was for potato to rattle the pots and pans, but we're ready to go. 5, 3, 4. Let's get her done.
Time now for 5 questions. Actually 3, but 5 sounds like more than 4. Question number 1. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Mayday, mayday, mayday. Time now for another edition of Mayday in Green Bay. An inside esoteric analysis of the Aaron Rodgers crisis in Titletown, USA.
Well, that crisis went over to the New York Jets, and now who knows where it's going to go next, because according to Jay Glazer, the New York Jets informed quarterback Aaron Rodgers in a meeting last week that that the team will be moving on from him. My question for you, Common, will Aaron Rodgers be a starting quarterback in the NFL next season?
The first decision is, does he want to? There have been rumors. He left it open like, of course, you would expect him to do. I don't know. He's kind of made it seem like he hasn't made a decision, at least from what I've been able to gather. My guess is he doesn't really want to retire. Wouldn't you rather go? Did Brady retire after he won the last one with Tampa Bay, or did he play again?
I felt he played one more.
Yeah. It was Peyton Manning who went out on top, right? Didn't he win it all later? So going out on top, now whether I don't think Rodgers has much left. I've thought that for years, even though he's recently, as 2 years ago, I think won an MVP award. I just have never. I think he's a very selfish player that's more worried about stats, and then when things don't go right, he'll blame it on the rest of the team. He's very good at finger pointing. But my guess is he doesn't want it to end where, last year, his first game of the season, he was injured, he was out, and then he just did not have a good year this year. The team didn't. Not only did he not, the Jets didn't either. So I would suspect he'll want to play one more year to at least, play with the team and maybe put up some numbers and make your way into the playoffs and try to make a run. So I expect him to play again, yes.
And while we were on the air today, Adam Schefter was on with Pat McAfee, and he's already done the first little dropping of Aaron Rodgers. Might as well get the speculation going for the Minnesota Vikings, because he said on McAfee's show today, when asked where, because he was saying he guesses Rodgers isn't done and that he wants to play. McAfee, asked him basically a lead up to, well, what are some possible solutions? First thing he said, it's a fluid moving thing. Is Minnesota going to lose Sam Darnold, or are they going to bring him back? So that was the first team he mentioned, was the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh my gosh, you are above average at that.
Would you want him here? So Aaron Rodgers, he could do the same thing Brett Favre once did, where he played for the Packers, went to the Jets, and then came here.
That's fine. If you're looking to win now, no, I don't think he's got anything left. He does nothing for me. Is he better than most backups? Yeah. Is he better than a handful of the starters? I suppose. But no, if you're going, I wouldn't. The only reason you would do that is if you think, well, one more year he's JJ to get a feel for the game, and we feel like we have enough pieces in place right now, we can make a run. That's the only reason you would do that. Otherwise, I don't think you need him to sell tickets or anything like that. So I would say no, I'd rather he not play here. How about you?
Judging by Aaron Rodgers' throw charts this last year, KOC likes to throw the ball down the field. Aaron Rodgers is not throwing the ball down the field this year. He was throwing everything within 10 yards. So my guess is that style of quarterback would not work for KOC.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be here.
Question number 2.
All Vikings, let's win this game. You'll hear us yell for more.
It's now time to take an in-depth look at the state of the skull.
ESPN.com today put out their early 2025 NFL power ranking.
Power ranking.
For next year, they've got the Chiefs at number 1, Bills at 2, your Lions at 3. Eagles just win the big game, and they've got them at 4. Disrespectful. Ravens at 5, Commanders at 6, Packers at 7, Chargers at 8, Bengals at 9, and then finally your Minnesota Vikings at number 10. Common, do you agree with the Vikings being number 10 in the 2025 early NFL power rankings?
I love the power rankings. You know me. We love lazy radio, and list radio is lazy radio. And it is too early to have power rankings. We don't know who's going to quarterback the Vikings. We don't know which free agents are coming back, how they would fill those spots. It's impossible to know. If you were asking me if every team brought back basically the exact same team, then that sounds about right. They were 14-3. But if you're partying with Darnold, I think they will. I'm with you. I think most people feel that way. Then you got a youngster who knows? Could he have a great season like Jaden Daniels, I guess, or could he struggle like Caleb Williams or somewhere in between? Maybe he'll be brilliant. I hope he is. My guess is he'll be somewhere in between if he plays. That's just my guess. So it's hard for me to think they're going to be a brilliant team. And then we talked about the free agents that they're losing. How do they fill those roles? It's too early, but yeah, I mean, I guess that sounds about right. I'm not going to argue with number 10.
Question number 3.
Common, what'd you think of Kendrick Lamar's performance at the halftime show last night?
Oh my gosh. Above average at that.
Oh, what a bad break for me. I missed the halftime show. I had a long restroom break. Actually, what happened was, and this is the truth, my wife, when she went to the grocery store, which will remain unnamed, they did not put, she got it at the deli, the sliced ham and salami for the stromboli. They didn't put it in the bag, so she's getting ready to make it. She goes, they didn't put it in the bag. So I went to the store during halftime. Did you watch Kendrick Lamar, and your thoughts?
I did.
Your thoughts. Make it long.
Well, I think a lot of people, when they view the halftime performance, even going into it, I thought, I mean, his most recent song within the last year, Not Like Us, is arguably the biggest song of the year. After that, I don't think I could tell you a Kendrick Lamar song, right? I've never really listened to his music. He hasn't had, I don't believe, any super popular top of the Billboard maybe on the rap charts he's hit high, but like your general popular charts, I don't hear him a whole lot. So I went into it knowing I'm not going to know any of his songs, which I think is going to influence what you think of the performance. I would also guess with him, so I would say, other than Not Like Us, I didn't really like his music. But I would also say there was probably a message being sent there last night that was more than just, can you tap your toes to the songs, right? With a lot of the divide that's going on in the country and political stuff and all that. So,
well, it's a diss track too, right? Wasn't it?
Well, yeah, the Not Like Us is specifically a diss of Drake, and yeah, that was a pretty, he kept teasing it throughout the halftime show. Like, hey, should I go with this song? And they'd play 2-second clip of it. And then apparently I didn't even know that Serena Williams was an ex-girlfriend of Drake's, and then Serena was out there dancing, doing a crip walk to that song. So that, Kendrick is like the ultimate troll to Drake, and for that, I find that to be very humorous. So I thought it was all right, even though not very familiar with a lot of his songs.
Was he lip syncing?
No, which is actually, refreshing.
You sure?
Okay. He was not lip syncing.
What about garish stage show, dancers, lights, explosions.
I mean, there's always.
Yeah.
I will say, like, a lot of it. Have we now gone now in recent history? It seemed like, or not even recent history, but just history in general. They seemed like they'd have like 4 different people come out there and make special guest appearances, and he really didn't have it other than the one gal who I didn't even know who she was.
SZA.
Yeah, but they were doing the song together.
I'm a big SZA guy.
So he just did it all on his own. He wasn't really handing it off to anybody else. I just wish he would have played the entire "Not Like Us" song, though. It's a great song.
Yeah, I can't please everyone, Tenneby. You got to give him a little bit of this, a little bit of that. With him. So I did miss it. I missed the Star Spangled Banner too. How'd that go?
Oh, that was the
John
Baptiste. Yeah, it was all right. I like the piano in it. It was okay.
Apparently, I read the review about it. Did he could you even recognize it? It kind of sounded to me like he kind of played around with it and added some stuff.
He like New Orleans did it up a little bit.
I thought. See, okay.
Yeah, I thought it was a little more jazzy.
But you could still recognize it.
Well, I mean, you know the words.
He didn't change the lyrics or anything like that either. Okay, very good. I'm glad all the answers.
And that's it for today's edition of 5 questions. Well, actually 3 questions, but 5 sounds like more than 4.
You're getting ripped. It says Kendrick has 5 number 1 hits and 22 top 10 hits on the normal Billboard charts.
Really?
Tennant needs to put down his Walkman and tune into the music of today.
There is truth to that.
Why do you tune into the music of today, Tim, like me?
There's no doubt.
Like the host of the show, because you know me, I'm a big...
But even the songs he played last night, I'm just sorry, the hip-hop is not as good as it was in the 1990s. None of that compares to Dre, Snoop, Tupac, Biggie, none of it.
None of it.
Except for Not Like Us. That's a great song.
We'll take a break. We'll come back. That's 534. Tenneby's got a keyword for us.
Yeah, the fan wants to give you a shot to put $1,000 in your hand with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword cash at KFAN.com now for a shot at winning. The keyword is cash. Enter now at KFAN.com. Check out our contest page and see how you can win a pair of tickets to the Minnesota Golf Show, February 21st through the 23rd at the Minneapolis Convention Center. That's KFAN.com. Keyword contest to enter for your chance to win.
1, 2, 13, 14. It's lunchtime, I turn on Dan Cole, the common cure for my sick old radio. If I need a gadfly, I look to Dan Cole. Storied program, Radio Romeo. No vacant phone lines, callers are holding. So much to talk about, yet silence is golden. Esoteric, look at the games, and no 2 shows are ever the same. Knock down, punch, cut, fade. I want to hear about the putts he's made. Okay, calm down, time to get with the program now. Stop your crying. Common is selling hope. I think I'm buying. There was this one time I heard the Super Show. Pretty good, but who is this Barrio? Who are the T-Wolves and what are they playing? Can you eBay NBA? Shoot, what was I saying? Remember the set. Knock down, punch, cut, fade. I want to hear about the putts he's made. Okay, calm down. Tough love for a tough guy town. Time to turn that frown upside down. It's time to get with the program now.
How would that have been for the halftime show last night?
Oh, terrific.
That's Consolation Champ. That's a little ditty about the common man. He did a really nice job, and we do appreciate that. That's, I don't know if you ever read those stories where, the album Dark Side of the Moon has been on the top 200 album charts for 50 years. That song is still in the top 100 of the Billboard Hot 100. After how many years ago was that? When did Consolation Champ send us that song? Got to be 10 years, isn't it?
Oh, minimum.
Minimum, might even be longer than that. So it just continues to grow. Matter of fact, unprecedented response.
Oh my gosh, you are above average.
Text messages on the Bradshaw and Bride KFAN text lines. One said, so good, well done. Another said, finally, some good bumper music. Then another said, goosebumps. Then another said, this song is way too long. Don't bring your negativity here. It's not too long. It runs, 2:57? That's a short song nowadays. I could have Tend to Be queue up Close to the Edge by Yes, and that song runs 18 minutes and 40 seconds. So let's not get carried away. That was well done. And then someone else said, I know this isn't AI. And he is right. Here's another. Common, love that song. So we have others too. Maybe we should play all the hits this week. We could probably do one every day. We've got
Lava Bloom Gal.
Lava Bloom Gal is really good.
Yeah, Murph.
Yeah, Murph.
Twice.
Yeah, Murph twice.
Two Murphs.
There's plenty of good songs. We'll do some of those again. By the way, you're getting ripped, Tend to Be.
Sure.
You bring controversy wherever you go. Well, you're getting praised and ripped. This is what's interesting about it's almost any topic that drives a wedge between people.
Yeah.
I didn't think Kendrick Lamar would have this kind of effect on the Grump today, but two people with two completely different opinions of your opinion.
Okay.
This one says, terrible take by Tenna. For someone who loves 90s rap, Kendrick is a godsend. Until recently, he's been on the other side of popular rap for trying to bring musicality and lyricism back to rap's peak, with support of many old school rappers, Dre for one. Then someone else says, Tenna is right. Hip-hop of old had more energy and excitement. Today it's just dark and dreary. Halftime Super Bowl looking for mindless entertainment, not political and social statements, just my opinion. So one listener completely agreed with you, and other.
Well, and I will say, I'm sure because people only view things on the extremes these days.
Correct.
I wasn't saying Kendrick Lamar was awful or that his music is terrible, right? I'm just saying I wasn't familiar with them, and I just thought, right? I didn't think I could understand why others would like him, and I get, to the first emailer's point, he does actually try to have a message in his songs, which I actually do find refreshing compared to most of what's being put out there these days. So I'm not completely hating on him and think he's awful and shouldn't be up there.
You were only half right earlier. It says Lamar had two of Drake's ex-girlfriends on stage with him. Not just one, but two.
Oh, was that I
don't know.
The SZA or whatever?
I have no idea. All I know is it says Lamar had two of Drake's ex-girlfriends on stage.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Not one, but two.
He's the best troll ever.
And who knows? There may have been others in the background. I don't know if he's the best troll ever.
Well, I mean,
Well, no, because I was just segueing into another bit. I wasn't. We'll say this for the other side. There was more trolling last night. So let's do this. Let's take a break, because this will take a bit. I got 2 or 3 different things I want to put into the next segment. One would be a wonderful trolling incident, and then what was my other I had? Believe it or not, Tend to Be, I want to talk some NBA. So we're gonna talk a little bit of NBA. We're gonna take a trolling incident from yesterday. A couple of other topics as well. Here on the Common Man program on the Fan right now, though, Tend to Be wants to take a look at the Wild.
Yeah, this is Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, the official bourbon of the Minnesota Wild. The Wild were down 3-1 Saturday night, but they made a bold comeback.
Rolla comes up with his puck, though. Fed the point Spurgeon. Laid along. Some room for Brodeen. Left circle. A shot. They score! Boldy in front. Tipped it home. And we're tied at 3.
Yeah, Matt Boldy tied his season high with 3 points. He scored twice. He added an assist as the Wild rallied to beat the Islanders 6-3 at the X. Philip Gustafson finished with 31 saves as the Wild won back-to-back games at home for the first time since December 3rd. One other note, off the ice, Joel Eriksson Ek was scratched with a lower body injury in that game, though head coach John Hines did say it wasn't a major issue and that Ek is still planning to go to the Four Nations face-off for Sweden. And the Wild will now have 2 weeks off due to that Four Nations face-off, which begins on Wednesday. That was Wild Today, brought to you by Jim Beam, a crowd pleaser since 1795.
Slayer, Megadeth, Montrose, garbage.
Comedy sensation Daniel Tosh is bringing his hilarious stand-up show to the Twin Cities. Don't miss your chance to see him live on June 19th at the State Theater. Tickets are on sale now. Get the full details at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Slipknot. So, talking about trolling. Let's back up just a little bit. Now, first of all, I'm not paying as close attention to the National Football League as I once did. I want to go back to 2017 when the Philadelphia Eagles, with backup quarterback Nick Foles in for the injured Carson Wentz, led Philadelphia to the franchise's first ever big game world championship by beating the legendary Tom Brady. You say his name in hushed tones. And Bill Belichick, right? I never watched the end of the game, generally speaking. I mean, you know, the very end. And I must have just missed this because I like to always watch the handshake part before I get out of. Because I just like to see if the two quarterbacks and the two coaches come together, how long they spend chatting with each other. Apparently after that big game, and I either did not see it, did not know about it, or did not remember it, Brady refused to even meet Foles at midfield, right? Just left the field. And apparently in another game between the two, he did the same exact thing. At the NFC Championship game a couple of weeks ago, Brady was on the call with Kevin Burkhardt. And Nick Foles was in attendance as a guest of the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Fox crew did picked up Foles on camera. They had a shot of Foles on camera. And so at that point, I guess Brady felt he needed to say something. He goes, Nick, I don't hate you. I'm just jealous of you. You caught it. I didn't. Because there was a Bummerooski play. Can you say Bundarooski? Bundarooski. It's fun. Can you say 40-22 ski? And so, because there was a gadget play, Foles caught a tutty. And I think New England also tried to run a gadget play in that game. And it didn't work. Brady dropped the pass, apparently. So he claims he did it strictly because he's jealous of Nick Foles. I don't know if anybody else bought that. I did not. I didn't buy it for a minute. To me, that was an important... Would that have been a three-peat for New England? Feels like it was.
I can look.
It was another chance to... I mean, you know, look, it's not as though Brady needed that big game victory to etch his name into National Football League history. But it was an opportunity to win another big game.
So, I mean, it would have been the middle of a three-peat.
Okay.
So they won in 2017, won in 2019.
Okay.
That would have been 2018.
So it was you don't get there often. You can add to your legacy and another win and, you know, all the hard work you put in during the season, blah, blah, blah. I think he was just so annoyed and bitter that he got bested by a backup quarterback. And it might not have been so much just Foles himself. It was the whole situation. He stormed off the field. To me, it's bad sportsmanship. I don't care if you're jealous of him. Has that ever happened? I mean, sure, I guess it probably has, but I don't remember any time where a quarterback didn't greet the other quarterback in midfield, even if for that quick 2 seconds where they just go, yeah, congratulations. Like even Josh Allen did it again. How many times has he had to do it with Pat Mahomes in the playoffs? He had to do it again. He went out there. I don't think whatever they said to each other, we will never know unless one of them brings it up. I don't think many words were exchanged.
Mahomes got flack once because he went out to greet Josh Allen, but then was just complaining about the officials all the time. Basically, we got screwed on that, blah, blah, blah.
Yes, exactly.
Josh is like, okay.
Again, another poor show of poor sportsmanship. Sometimes these guys we idolize and pedestalize. And I know the comeback to that is, you wouldn't understand. These guys put everything into it. They lay it all out there, and it hurts, man. It hurts. Sometimes it doesn't work. Guys are laying on line. Well, so what? You're supposed to be bigger than that. Teams that lose, you do that all. I always like when they'll go to the opposing locker room, and the coach will be standing out there 20 minutes after the game, and he'll face the media. Devastating. They lost a big game. But generally speaking, I don't know if it happened last night. I ducked out shortly after the final gun. But generally speaking, they're very gracious, and it's tough. Again, if you want to do the old, they put everything into it. It's a long season from training camp, blah blah blah. Guys laying on line, and you lose, and you get there and you don't win. It's pretty devastating. I would imagine, but you're still supposed to find a way to put your disappointment aside and go congratulate the victor. So last night, Brady's in the booth calling the game along with Burkhardt, and Philadelphia wins their second big game. So they won their first with Brady in attendance and their second with Brady in attendance. Nick Foles trolls Brady. Did you see this tweet?
No.
It's really cool that Tom Brady got to be there for the Eagles' 2 Super Bowl wins. He might be a good luck charm. Have a great night.
I always love that one.
Because I think Nick knows deep down that it has nothing to do with being jealous. You were just bitter, mean a poor sport. That's just poor sportsmanship, man. Do you think I'm right or wrong? I think Brady just did the old. They showed a picture of Foles in the broadcast. He knows what happened. He knows everybody else knows what happened, except for me. I didn't realize it, and he had to address it. And so he did the old, I'm jealous of you. I don't hate you. I'm jealous of you. No, you were bitter in a poor sport. Would you agree? Or I don't see how it's.
I agree, but I will say what makes a lot of these players as great as they are is their absolute hatred of losing and how miserable they'll be if they lose, right? Like Michael Jordan was the exact same way. I just mentioned Mahomes and his incident with Josh Allen, right? Like what makes Tom Brady so great is he absolutely hated to lose and would do everything in his power to prepare himself to win a football game. And then they're almost maniacal in that sense. They want to win so bad, and frankly probably don't know how to handle losing when they do. I hope that didn't sound like a defense of him.
It sounds like it.
Because it's not.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I mean, out of all the poor sportsmanship things you could do, I don't think it's that high on the list of being a poor sport. And, it's probably also a little unfair that, like, because you're in the spotlight, I'm sure there's been many players that have just walked right off the field after a loss of some sort, but we don't point them out because they're not the star quarterback for their team.
Yeah, but the quarterbacks usually do it. That I've always noticed. I've never not seen when 2 quarterbacks don't do it. I've never seen a quarterback not meet another. Like you say, I'm sure it has happened. I just expect if you're going to take all the compliments and you're the greatest of all time and the people love you and blah blah blah, and then you do that because you're bitter because you lost. I don't like to talk about myself. You know that. I don't even like using myself as a comparison or an analogy. But I'll take you back to this past summer. This is a big event. Is it quite as large as the big game? No, but it's the D.F. Solomon Associates dual course invitational golf tournament. We play 9 holes at Bunker Executive, and we play 9 over at Majestic Oaks. I'm going for my 10th championship, the first to get to double digits. I already have more than anybody, but not by a long way. And you play your first round with pals. Then when you get to when we pack everything up and we go over to Majestic Oaks, we're playing the executive courses. You get to the Majestics, then you pair up with scores. So it's in foursomes. And so I think I got like a 1-shot lead over Doug Solom Jr. And one over another guy, and then two over some others, including one guy in our group and then a couple in front of us, right? Doug Jr.'s never won before. He's 30-ish years old. He's never won. He's been in the hunt before. I've bested him before in the final group, right? I want to win. I want to get that 10th. Plus, there's cash prize, too, at the end of the trophy and the whole thing, the green jacket. It's the pomp and the circumstance, right? So we're battling and battling. I get to the third hole, and I make a couple of terrible wedge shots. Fall behind, keep it close. We get to the very end, and he ends up making, I got a gun for the final green. It's like a 90-yard wedge shot. I hit it too far, blah, blah. So I think I was trailing by 2 going to that hole, ended up losing by 3. I was not pleased with what happened. Did I not shake his hand and say congratulations? I knew how much it meant to him. He'd been trying to win for years and hadn't won. In that case, I was Tom Brady with my 9 championships. Doug Jr. was Nick Foles with none. I was the bigger man than Tom. I'm a bigger man than Tom Brady.
Oh my gosh.
I congratulate him there on that.
Average at that.
On that 9th green or the 18th hole of the tournament. I was bitter. I could have just not done it, just said, I was jealous of him. Didn't want to do it. But I was the bigger man, Tennessee, than Tom Brady. And I have more green jacket titles than Tom's got big game rings. So just
More successful with the ladies, too.
well, yeah, I would think.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I'm still married to my first wife. My second wife hasn't been born yet. But so again, I'm sorry. I just love that Foles took a troll to last night because Foles knows. Foles knows what it's all about. That's just poor sportsmanship. Matter of fact, I have less respect for Brady now than I did before. And I've always, I admired him. He's a great player. Won 6 big games. Now again, if you want to pick on him a little bit, you want to talk about. We've discussed this before. Look at the division he was in.
Yeah.
The Jets were terrible. The Dolphins were terrible. And the Bills were, for the most part, those teams were always awful.
Yes.
Every year. Every single year. They were one of the worst divisions in pro football. You're 6-0 to start the season, literally, sometimes 5-1.
Which would lead to them getting a top 2 seed every single year.
Every single year, only having to play 2 games. And then, look, that's not to say he wasn't really good. He was. Of course, when you tamper with the air, with the air pressure in the balls.
And
Spygate. And remember the accusations of, you ever noticed that his ankles were bulky with tape? And this is my favorite.
Buzzer.
That's my favorite conspiracy theory of all time. I just love this one. He had some kind of a buzzer under there so that there's somebody up in a booth. And anytime someone's coming up on his blind side, they would punch the buzzer and would give it a little electrical kind of a jolt, almost like the negatometer. Like if somebody. And then he knows to move. Because wasn't it uncanny? You ever watch him? It's like he had eyes in the back of his head. He always knew when danger was approaching from behind. Like nobody's ever seen anything like it, right?
Do you think maybe he had some hidden rearview mirrors on his helmet?
It's possible too. I think the buzzer thing is more probable. Because think about it, it would work, right? If you add that
if you can buzz it that quickly and the signal goes down instantly and the quarterback still has to make a read of some sort.
We can send a man to the moon, Tenna. I can right now type in anything to Grok, and within seconds, you can have a song made within about 30 seconds. So anything is possible. So I love the trolling last night, and again, it's just fun. I was glad that he was able to stick it to, and yeah, I'm sure Tommy will sleep fine at night. He's comfortable with who he is, where he's been, where he's going, and where he's at. One more thing about Brady though, and then I'm gonna segue that into another telecast because I watched some of the Waste Management yesterday. There's 8 minutes and 50 seconds left in the game last night. Phillies got the ball. Up 4 scores in 7 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
they show Mahomes on the sideline, kind of sitting on the bench, biding his time to get back in. And Brady says, I'll never count out 15. He literally was trying to let the audience know that even though they were down by 4 tutties, which means they would have needed a touchdown, 2-point conversion, and an onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion, and an onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion, and an onside kick, touchdown, 2-point conversion, and an onside kick to catch Philadelphia. He was trying to suggest that don't turn that dial. It's Pat Mahomes, and anything can happen. And look, I get it. I mean, I'm going to tease, going into this next break, I'm going to tease controversial Vikings news on the other side of the break to try to get you to hang on for another segment. So I understand the fraudulence in broadcasting, but that's like you're trying too hard. Don't insult the intelligence of your audience. They're not going to score 4 touchdowns in 8.5 minutes. He had an 18 quarterback rating at that point. They got 2 garbage time tutties. They needed 3 more garbage time tutties to get back in the game. And the golf was as bad with your guy Jim Nantz and Trevor Immelman on the call. The Dietrich character, I can't remember his first name. He's from Belgium, 32 years old. Never won on tour before, but he had success in Europe on the is it called the DP tour, whatever it is. Thomas Dietrich. He's got a 5-shot lead going into the final round. And a 5-shot lead in the final round, unless you're Greg Norman, that's how far back you have to go to find somebody that blew a 5-shot or more lead in a big event, right? Because it just doesn't happen. And they were doing the old, and because Scheffler and Spieth were both playing well in the final round and got off to a nice quick start, this thing ain't over yet. Don't count out Scotty Scheffler or Jordan Spieth just quite yet. And I'm thinking to myself, and I get it, they're probably under orders to try to make it seem like it ain't over till it's over. You can never count anybody out.
Well, and financially, right? It's beneficial for them.
I get it. Yeah. I get it. But it's, again, to me, you're insulting the intelligence of the audience. Everybody knows this tournament is over. Think about this, Tim. If you have a 5-shot lead going into the final round, 5 shots, you shoot even par 72. For the next closest guy to catch you, what does he have to shoot? 67. That's a pretty good score in a final round. If you even shoot a pedestrian 2 under, as Thomas Dietrich, just 2 under, that means the next closest guy's got to shoot a 65. I think 2 guys shot 65 yesterday, including Dietrich. He lapped the field. He won by like 6 or 7 shots. It's like, dude, he's not that. That's not going to happen here. It's just not. Just say, watch the coronation of Dietrich. I guess if he collapses, if he pulls a Norman, he's done. But folks, there was no chance of him losing that event. It got to 2 at one time. Then with the guy that was playing with him, Berger. But guess what? Dietrich followed up Berger's putt with a birdie putt of his own. Went back to 3. It's over, man. Kid wasn't going to let it go at that point. He'd never won before, but he'd been in a position a number of times. If you heard the interview the day before when he was with Amanda, you could just tell by he was just comfortable with who he was, where he's been, where he's going, where he's at. He goes, I think I finally figured out how to close these things out. And he said it with so much confidence. And he did. He closed it out. He was simply brilliant yesterday. And then the announcers are still, they're almost criticizing some of his approach shots. Because, it's a tight, tucked pin on the second level with a bunker to the right. I mean, it's like 2 paces off the right. And he hits it to the center of the green to 40 feet. Boy, it's awful. Boy, he's sure playing it awful conservative there. Well, yeah, because he can. You would be ripping him if he decided, I'm firing at that flag, short sides himself, puts it in the bunker, has a bad lie, an impossible chance to get it up and down, hits it out of the bunker, goes 30 feet, 20 feet by, and he 2 putts and makes bogey. He'd be saying, I don't understand why he was doing that, and why is he hitting driver off the tee? That's what they'd be saying. And it's all and I get it, we're all trying to continue to increase viewership or listenership, but don't be fraudulent about it. Or even say, I would appreciate this more if you just say, we know he's got no chance to win, people. We really should watch the rest of the time and look at and view these commercials and go out and buy the products that we're doing because this doesn't look very good right now. Stranger things have happened. Could happen. We saw Greg Norman lose a 6-shot lead at Augusta National Golf Club in Augusta, Georgia. So it can happen, but it's highly unlikely. So, and then I don't know what you think. I mean, I know it's harmless. But that 16th hole is getting to the point where, I mean, I guess it's funny because, and the players don't seem to have though, except one guy. God, who was it? He hit his ball on the green and missed the putt. And they, when you miss your putt, they boo you.
Yeah.
Right. And he did the old, he what's, what I'm trying to say? Like waved off the crowd, the heck with you.
Get out of here.
Yeah, get out of here. And it's like, you really shouldn't do that because you're going to get it worse than from now on. Anytime you're there or anywhere, you're going to get it from the gallery. They're going to be on you. But yeah, they're booing guys. They hit it to 10 feet and they're getting booed, or they get some mild applause. And then if they miss the putt, they get booed every time. And it's and I guess because it just happens once. I mean, I know there are people that think golf should be like all the time, like they do at Live.
Sure.
Where there's music pumping out and there's people screaming and hollering. I like.
They kind of have that in the TGL thing that they've been.
Oh, they do?
Yeah,
Okay.
where they're not loud, but they have music playing while they're hitting, or at least like on the drives, and you can hear people like Rubes occasionally in the bleachers yelling stuff out as they're getting ready to hit shots. So.
Well,
I don't know what the exact rules behind it are in terms of whether they can be quiet or not at certain times, but.
Well, in that format of what they're doing, where they're doing, to me, it's not even real golf anyways. It's sort of like.
Well, it's simulator golf, yeah.
Do they have a equivalent to Madden? Because, you have football with Madden. Did you see the quote from Saquon had his 2 kids with him? I'm in the locker room. I saw this online, and and the question from the reporter was something to the effect of, what does it mean to hold the Lombardi Trophy? And he said something. He goes, "It's a lot different than winning it in Madden." But I wonder if golf has the equivalent of Madden. I'm sure they do. I don't know what they call it. Nicholas Woods, probably Tiger Woods, right?
Sure.
And sorry, that's just not. So this what is this called? PTL?
I think it's TGL.
TGL?
Yeah.
TGL just ain't like golf, folks. It's not. So again, the concentration, the focus of these guys, it's just like free money. It's like, hey, we want to have you come out and do this thing on TV. It'll be kind of fun. We'll pay you. I don't know what they're all getting a guarantee of some sort.
Sure.
And there's probably a prize as well. They go, yeah, I got nothing better to do. It's it's early in the week. Yeah, I'll come out, be on TV. Sounds like fun to me. There's no pressure. Doesn't matter. It's not life-changing money for any of these guys. It's not life-changing in any way, shape, or form. It's not like announcing the 4th pick at the National Football League draft for the Vikings, for crying out loud.
I always love that one.
Let's do this. Let's pause. When we return, no Mark Rosen. He'll be in tomorrow. I think we'll take a look at some of the PST.
He won't be in tomorrow, actually.
Oh, that's right. He won't be in. That's right. He's out for one more day. We'll have the tomorrow, the Preposterous Statement Tournament Selection Show. We'll tease it a little bit on the other side of the break here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.